WASU, and welcome to WASU Wisdom for Living. My name is Wayne Sutphin, and I'm your WASU guru. Today, I'd like to have a wisdom presentation about getting into arguments or debates with people that don't know what they're talking about. Now, there are many quote out there in regards to get into arguments, especially or debates with people that, for lack of a better term, as Mark Twain calls people, and that you may be arguing with fools. He says his quote goes, "Never argue with a fool because onlookers may not be able to tell the difference." Basically that's saying if you're out there arguing with somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about and they're just off in left field, you're gonna look as crazy as they look. Secondarily, another quote, I wouldn't say it's a quote, but it's right out of Proverbs 26, 4, 26 chapter 4th verse. Don't answer the foolish arguments of a fool, or you will become as foolish as they are. So basically, some time ago, I used to get into, I used to want to make sure I proved my point, especially when I was right. And I continue going back and forth with someone about something, and there's no point in doing that, especially if you already know that what you're talking about and you got facts and everything to prove what you're talking about in this, I guess, in this discussion, if you don't want to call it a debate or argument. So there's no point in to continue the actual debate or argument with this person. And then, as time went on, I learned, I was like, okay, well, you know what? If I already know that what I'm talking about is based in reality and it is correct, I just need to just go ahead and let this person have their opinion and continue to go on about their business. In many instances at this point in time in my life, if I already know the facts and I already have the baseline reality and truth, later I'll talk about baseline reality in another wisdom presentation. But if I already have the baseline reality and what is true, and I've already, placed the information that I wanted to put out there to inform them, have them know, there's no point in me to continue to try to drive it home. Is all that is going to do is continue the actual argument or debate. And if I don't know what the discussion is about, you'll find this to be better, a wise thing to do. There's no point in getting into a debate if you yourself don't know what you're talking about. It's best to listen to, I guess, the people that are discussing things. And we have now access to a lot of things, a lot of knowledge. So if you're not versed on, I guess, a discussion topic, you have your phone. You can segue on off to the side, Google it, but make sure when you're Googling, because everything on the internet is not true. So when you're Googling, trying to find information so that you can, I guess, partake in the discussion or debate, or to get to the point, argument, make sure the information is correct, or then you then become the person that we're talking about, not getting into an argument with. So there's no point in arguing a point that you have no clue on what you're talking about. So be well versed in any, I guess, debate or argument or discussion, or don't get in it. And then secondarily, I guess the primary, if you already know what you're talking about is truth, there's no point in getting into a debate or argument either. So the other thing we also have to understand is people continue to argue regardless of how wrong or illogical their stance may be, because it's a psychological fact that people sticking to one's beliefs or thought process, and it makes them feel good regardless of how wrong they may be. And you may notice, and it's also psychological and a scientific fact that people tend to argue harder and give you more pushback when they are wrong, because that's more of a defense mechanism to, I guess, help with their fragile ego of actually being wrong. So with this said, the best thing to do, like I said, the first thing is, if you have factual information and it's a discussion point and you've laid out the information, someone still wants to debate or argue from an illogical standpoint or a opinionated standpoint. And opinions, you can't change somebody's opinion because, or tell them that their opinion is wrong or right because it's their opinion. But we get back to that thing that eventually I'm going to talk about, which is a baseline reality, which is cut and dry. It is what it is. It's not up for debate. So that's number one. If you already know what it is that you're I guess discussing, after you've displayed those points and talked about it, let it go. Secondarily, if you don't know what you're talking about and you happen to find yourself and beginning to get into a debate or discussion, you might want to pump your brakes, chill out, and just listen. You know, the secondary thing, if you're going to, I guess, be in a debate, unless it's life threatening, then don't continue arguing or debating with someone what's right and what's wrong. So, hopefully, this is giving someone's a better insight on getting into frivolous debates and arguments with people just because, and it should be easier to, I guess, remove yourself from arguments that aren't worth your time at this point. Remember, as Mark Twain said, never argue with a fool. Onlookers may not be able to tell the difference. And with that said, WASU, thank you for listening to this wisdom presentation. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back talking with you soon. Thanks. Bye.